up to the boys. Fox and Shane, set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing cold, but a penny turn red. Can't let deck, straight down in my head, war gaming.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Hobby Homies. We are your weekly tabletop podcast.
That's interesting.
I am Shane, hanging out with Fox.
Hey, what's up, gang? What up? I'm still here.
Our pre-episode recording hype was...
They can't fire me.
No, they can't.
You're they.
No, we can't. Well, we can.
True. I better tread carefully.
Indeed.
What's
Today-
happening, Shane? What do you know?
Oh, some say not much, others say even less. Today we're talking about the forging of the Stormcast Eternals.
That's right. This is a lore video on the Stormcast Eternals.
Some would say not a deep dive, more like a...
What are you doing? Shuffling cards. 2 words. Yeah. First word.
One's up and one's down. I can't talk, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Swimming through the cards, shuffling cards, playing a card game, Childish Gambino.
How did you get that?
Bro, I'm a wizard.
You're on another plane.
They've said that about me.
Yep.
So, last month at some point, we did 2 episodes where we talked about Skaven and Skaven lore.
Yeah.
Because of the new release of the Skaven-Tide box and the new edition of Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
You're now contrasting that with the other side of the box.
I am.
So that we cater for all people that bought the Skaven-Tide box.
All 3 of them.
Yeah, all 3 of you,
Yeah.
we got you covered.
Yeah.
The 2 that went Skaven, there's 2 episodes for you.
Yeah.
And the 1 that went Stormcast, we got an ep for you.
So I've condensed everything you put into 2 episodes into 1.
That's just efficient.
Well, I mean, there's a whole lot less Skavor in mine.
Sorry, I said deficient. You might have misheard me.
I
said
did.
That's very deficient.
You are correct.
Your episode is deficient.
It's lacking of
Let's
Skavor.
hear it. I actually know nothing about Stormcast.
I know very little until I
Did
researched.
a medium dive.
There's so much, man.
Yeah.
Far out. Like, Stormcast themselves, quite new, quite shallow.
Yeah, sure.
I talk about Sigmar for like 60% of this.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Who's Sigmar?
Prepare to find out.
I'm ready.
Get ready for it.
I'll wet my whistle and I'm here to enjoy.
Okay. I'm glad. The Stormcast Eternals are superhuman warriors forged by magic and lightning by the god King Sigmar.
Kind of like Thor.
In a way. Sure. They are the divine weapons of the Grand Alliance of Order and have been shaped from mortal souls of honor and courage fused with the celestial energy of the cosmic storm.
Wow.
Once paragons of mankind, many being brave warriors or powerful wizards, but not all, for the skill of combat can be taught, whilst honor, courage and faith cannot.
Ah, interesting.
There are multiple stages to the creation of a Stormcast Eternal, but before we begin down that path, we need to understand who Sigmar is and how he became God King.
Yeah. King Emperor, God King Emperor of mankind.
There's a lot of that in here too.
Okay, cool.
For a good while, I'm like, hang on, is this 40k?
Yeah, I've gone over the warp. I've gone through the warp, out the other side. 40k.
Yeah. The birth of Sigmar. Sigmar was once simply just a man born to the Unborogan tribe, one of the many different ancient warlike tribes of human barbarians that populated the lands that became known as the Reichland in the old world.
Oh, I've got Reichland Flesh Shade.
Yeah. Again, that's another common thing. I'm seeing all these names and I'm like, I know that paint.
I've got that paint. I have 2 of those paints because I thought I didn't have the paint, went to the store and bought the paint.
And one was gloss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need Reichland Flesh Shade gloss. That's a mistake.
Which later made up a portion of the Empire. Sigmar's father was the legendary warrior King Bjorn Unborogan, son of Redmane Dregor, who purged the flesh-eating Skriani from the lands of men in an age long gone.
You know, I'm going to say it, and this might be a little bit racist, but I'm glad they're gone.
Yeah?
Yeah, the flesh-eating race. I'm glad they're
Doesn't say man flesh.
Oh. What other flesh is there? I mean, like, how is...
flesh.
Yeah, but how is devouring animal flesh... I mean, I guess we do that if the roast chicken's good enough, but...
Yeah. You haven't seen me alone with a roast chook, dude.
No, if I saw you, you wouldn't be alone. So of course not.
I mean, like through a window.
Oh, right, yeah, I have. Oh, what'd you say, with a roast
With
chicken?
a roast chook, yeah.
Yeah, no, not that particular breed of animal. Carry on.
The announcement of the coming royal heir. Writing that, I knew I would get that response out of you. There's more of that in here too, don't worry.
It's good.
Many
It's
more
good.
men will come.
Good, I'm glad. The more the better.
Was a cause for much celebration amongst
Indeed.
the Unberogen.
Yeah.
And Bjorn ordered a great feasting to be held to honour the gods for this blessing. While wise men came from all around the Unberogen holdings
Gross.
to speak of the portents they had witnessed that would affect the child's coming birth. In the end, however, it was only when old Drego, the oldest and wisest of these wise men, gutted a hair and read the prophetic signs present in its entrails,
Wow.
that the truth became apparent.
Have you seen, side tangent, have you
Great,
seen
let's
Year One with Jack Black and John Cena?
A long time ago.
Oh man, it's hilarious. It's like they do the same thing. They spill the entrails of like a local sheep
Yep.
to try and like tell the future.
Yep.
And they're like, well, what can you tell? And he's like, well, first of all, the rectum is absolutely pulverized. Not uncommon for a sheep in these parts. And then some other stuff
Sure.
about the future. So that's what that reminded me of.
Yep. For he'd found that the onset of the childbirth, both mother and expected son would die. Pale with fear, Bjorn gathered his trusted bodyguard to journey to the domain of the hag woman of Brackenwalsh, an ancient seeress who alone had the knowledge to save the family of the Unberogen king.
This feels like a lot of lore. This is probably super dumb.
Go on.
Sigmar existed in fantasy.
Yes, this
and
is
the
this
old
is
world.
fantasy.
This is the old
This
world.
is like pre-fantasy.
Yeah, because it's sort of like a lot of the names are like Viking-esque.
Yeah, it's all that part
Old.
of Europe inspired.
Yeah, literally.
Reichland, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like
That makes
we
sense.
know where they're going with it.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. This is all kind of like old world.
Wait
old
till
fantasy.
the Norsey come up.
Yeah, well, I was waiting. But you just kept letting me
They're
interrupt
coming.
you. they are coming.
How come? Bjorn and his retinue journeyed to the Brackenwalsh, a place no man dared, filled with darkling things. It was said that its winding paths led to the underworlds of the chaos gods of the Norsey. At the marsh, the Unberogans abandoned the cart in which they had placed Bjorn's pregnant wife, Griselda, for the ground was too treacherous. To the heart of the marsh they journeyed, where their seer was reputed to dwell. They found nothing there, save for her shack and cauldron. Yet even the hardened Unberogan warriors startled when they noticed clear blue eyes peering at them from the broth still bubbling in the cauldron.
That sounds delicious.
Right.
Broth.
Check a stew, some potatoes in there. You got a stew going.
You do.
And then the human bones strewn about the abode. A party of orcs had boiled the crone alive in her own cauldron.
Interesting. I regret everything I've said previous to now. That doesn't sound delicious at all. It sounds
At the same moment,
subpar.
from all sides, the orcs came, howling and baying, drawn by the scent of Griselda's blood, and eager to shed yet more.
Wow. They got ganked.
They got ganked hard, dude.
Damn.
From the wildy. Bjorn roaring.
Is that from the wildy?
Yeah.
As in the wilderness?
Yeah.
That's the
You know?
nickname for it?
As in like RuneScape.
The wildy. He's right.
I know, I've played RuneScape.
Yeah, you have. Yesterday. It's the only game he's played for the last 16 years and he calls me a child. I'm sorry, how's RuneScape 3.0 doing?
I don't play, I play WoW now.
Yeah.
Bjorn, roaring a terrible battle cry, no less fearsome than the cries of the orcs, launched himself into the fray and fought only as a man defending that which he cherished could,
Yeah.
slaying many orcs at a time with great sweeps of his legendary battle axe, Soul Taker. Eventually, Bjorn closed with the Orcish warboss, a massive, brutal creature towering above all others in the battlefield. Man and orc, fiercest of rivals, were locked in a mortal combat until Bjorn smashed the orc chieftain to the ground and tore open his throat with his dagger.
Hell yeah, get him.
Oh yeah, he got him.
Got him good.
The battle had been won, but many of Bjorn's royal guard were slain, and it was far too late to save his wife. Bjorn rushed to Griselda's side only to find her dead from blood loss. Weeping, he nonetheless spied an infant stirring at her feet, wallowing in the mingled blood of human and orc. Sorrowful at the death of his love, yet overjoyed at the successful birth of his son. The grieving king raised the infant into the air as a mighty peal of thunder cracked the sky, and a great comet lit the night with its twin fiery tails.
And we shall call him Baby Bjorn.
Bjorn II. Thus was born Sigmar Unberogen, who had entered the mortal world with the sound of battle in his ears and the feel of orcish blood upon his flesh.
Wow.
As the years went on, Sigmar grew to become a strong and capable warrior. Before he had even reached the cusp of manhood, he was already a fierce and respected fighter, which brought pride to his father. He forged long-lasting friendships with 3 fellow fighters who would become his sword brothers and follow him on to the path to unify the tribes. One summer, on the day before his 10th year, Sigmar sparred against one of his brothers, Wulfgard. He was 3 years his senior, as well as taller and stronger, and defeated the Unberogen prince.
And more handsomer and richer and had more women
And more hung.
more hung. That was his downfall. He tripped over.
His name's like Wulfgard, dude. He has to.
I know.
Otherwise, that's
I
a
know.
hard life.
Yeah.
Yep. At this humiliation, Sigmar swung his weapon when Wulfgard's back was turned, breaking the old boy's arm. At the sight of his friend's pain, Sigmar's rage was quickly swept away with horror at what he had done. And it was then he was taken by his father and taught a valuable piece of wisdom. All men feel anger, but to become a great leader you must master it. Today you have entered your anger upon one who did not deserve it. Learn to respect your strength for the good of your people, not their ill.
I don't know if I've ever felt anger. But I did say old men.
Exactly, you're a child.
Yeah.
Want to play RuneScape later?
yeah. If the WoW servers are down. Sure.
Oh, it's maintenance night tonight.
That's why we record. You said you're not free any other night. But yeah, I'm a child.
I got a raid, dude.
You got a raid.
No, I just quest by myself because I'm fucking lonely.
True.
And with that, Bjorn set Sigmar upon his dooming day, where he would... sorry, hang on. This is full of this kind of stuff, right?
No, it's good. I like it. I'm having fun.
Where he stood upon the tombs of his ancestors, seeking their wisdom, sealed behind a boulder, and with a prayer to the mighty Ulrich, the god of war, he spotted a shaft of light breaking through the dark rock. Once free, he staggered atop the hill where he gazed upon the scattered tribes of frightened and vulnerable men spread amidst an ocean of darkness, and thus his destiny was realised.
Spread them out.
Spread them out.
So this is Sigmar.
This is Sigmar, yeah.
He's climbed the top.
He's gotten out of this cave that he was locked in, this tomb. He's climbed up on this mountain, looked upon this dark forest with little tiny camps of men,
Frightened.
terrified.
Vulnerable.
Yep.
And spread out.
And he's like, we should all be in one camp.
Yeah, it would be warmer.
Yeah. Why have many camp when one camp do a trick?
Yeah, that's smart. That's why he's Sigmar.
That's why he is the...
Yeah, he's not an alpha. No. He's a Sigmar.
He's the next level.
Yeah, he's a Sigmar.
I don't subscribe to that YouTube stuff. This is but one of the many tales of Sigmar that shaped him become God King. Like the tale of Black Tusk the Boar, where his first challenge was won not by bloodshed, but kindness.
Oh, which is interesting because he smacked his brother in the back.
Yeah.
So now he's learned to be kind.
He's learned to be kind. Yep.
To a boar?
A boar, yeah. This boar that was terrorizing everybody.
Yeah.
Sigmar actually approached the boar. He was sent out to kill it, right?
Yeah. They're like, go kill this boar. It's terrorizing everybody.
Exactly.
It's eating all of our corn.
Yeah. Oh.
And sometimes
boars
it
do.
charges us. It doesn't hit us, but it
goes.
It
It wants
charges.
to. Like you know that if it wants to, it can.
it could. And that's terrifying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway, it had a spear stuck in its neck.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he
No
pulled,
wonder it's so angry.
he pulled it out, and then the boar was like, "Thanks, mate."
Yeah, I feel like I've read that story before. There was something about a mouse and a lion and a thistle
Oh yeah.
or a thorn or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the lion ate the mouse or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
as they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he pulled the spear out of the neck
Yep.
and it bled out.
Well, it probably would. If it was real, it would. Yeah.
It was real.
Yeah. Stop. It was holding the body.
Yeah, I forget this is make believe.
Yeah. This is all fantasy, dude.
Yeah.
Literally fantasy.
Yeah.
Where am I? You've lost.
You're at the part. I've lost you.
Or the rescue of the dwarf king named Kurgan Ironbeard, who was taken captive by orcs, who rewarded Sigmar with his ancient weapon, a hammer known as Gal Maraz.
Oh, there you go.
It's the hammer. It's the Warhammer, dude.
So it's a Warhammer?
It's the capital T, capital W, the Warhammer.
That's not how you spell that.
Did you write this?
Someone did.
His name's Al.
Alan.
Sigmar went on to have many more great tales, but it wasn't until the destruction of the world that was, and only by clutching onto the last remnant of the world did he avoid destruction. It was a metal core of Sigmarite, and that was his life preserver through a sea of stars in the etheric void. Thank you.
I got you.
His journey lasted eons, and at long last was he discovered by Dracothian, the great Drake.
Oh, a dragon found him.
Yeah, space dragon.
You know what? It's funny because the deep dive up until this point, if someone had have said to you, cool story, needs more dragons, you just delivered.
That's what I'm here to do, man.
You're like, it's all about Sigmar.
Yep.
He clutched this basically cosmic remnant of the old world.
It's the core of the planet. Basically.
Yeah, and was flying through space, and then a dragon found him.
Yeah, and you're like, whoa. Yeah.
That's what it needed.
That's right. There are many more tales here during the Age of Myth, even grander and more wondrous than his time in the old world. Legends like slaying Ymnog, the grandfather of Gargants, hunting down the great Nagarenda, a shape-shifting realm serpent, and besting the green-skinned god of destruction, Gorkamorka.
Wow. That's a name I know.
That's
That's crazy.
If it was like me reading this, that's the first name that you know.
Including Sigmar.
I learned so much going through all this stuff, man. It was crazy. Like, I got the 6th edition rulebook on the shelf back there.
Of what?
Fantasy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
6th edition.
Yeah. There was actually not as much in there about Sigmar as I kind of hoped.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because when you were talking through this, I was like, I wonder how much of a big deal Sigmar was in fantasy.
Yeah, he was there. He was a part of it.
But was he there, or was he like Age of Sigmar? You know, like you think about this game, it's built around, he's the God Emperor now.
Yeah.
But, you know, it sounds
He was
like
the God King.
Yeah, exactly.
He was more so just king, right? He was the king of the Empire.
Yeah. So it's interesting. That's something we probably wouldn't. I mean, if you let us know in the comments if you played Warhammer Fantasy. Obviously, Sigmar is the God Emperor now, essentially. What was he like when you played Fantasy?
Yeah.
Was he the thing?
Yeah.
Was he the dude? Or was
I feel like he was probably took a back seat.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Maybe.
I'm just wondering if he was like a little bit less renowned than he is now.
Yeah.
You know, if it was like, it was pretty cool that they took this main character and made him the main character.
Yeah.
Or if it was like, did they take someone that was like, you know, existed in the story and was important and turned him into the story?
Well, in that book, there is a couple of pages about him.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, when it comes to the lore, it's like the first section. And then throughout the book, there's poems and sort of little segments of lore that are like, you know, Sigmar did this, Sigmar did that. So I feel like he was a bit of a deal.
Yeah.
A bit of a big deal.
I want to know, is he like 2001 Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
In like, it's like The Matrix, but that's all he is.
Yeah.
Or is it like Keanu Reeves now, where it's like, he's just, I mean, he's on the train. He's on the train.
Yeah.
Doing normal people shit.
Yeah. Like
he's John Wick, he's Neo, but he's also the GOAT.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm curious about that.
Maybe.
Let us know.
Maybe.
If you're familiar, if you were in it, if you were immersed back then, when fantasy was a thing, let us know. We're just a couple of young bucks.
We just don't know. The forging.
Tell us.
The forging. The sky roars and is torn asunder by searing bolts of lightning, and with a flash and a rolling thunder revealing the gleaming hosts of the Stormcast Eternals. Their weapons wreathed in lightning and purity, they launch their swift but brutal assault. Warhammer shatter shields, and their onslaught batters down anyone who stands before it. During the Age of Myth, Sigmar had awoken many gods. Each gave unto him a gift, and Sigmar pulls the energy from those divine tributes to impart each warrior he reforges. After a lengthy feast to build their strength, the aspirants are taken into the chamber of the broken world to be blasted apart by lightning, then be reformed. Those that survive the godly infusion, the metal of each tested time and time again within the Forge Eternal, 7 times 7 are the Khans of tempering, which the aspirants have to weather. Upon the anvil of apotheosis, the Stormcast Eternals are finally wrought.
Wow. 7 times 7.
That's a lot.
77.
That's at least 7. A Stormcast Eternal is gifted with speed, strength, and endurance far above any mortal, and is furnished for battle with armaments made of triple blessed Sigmarite. Yet this is not enough. Within hours of a successful reforging, a Stormcast Eternal is subjected to relentless tasks and training designed to hone their enhanced abilities.
It seems like a bit much.
Yeah, like tasks make me think it's like, go get my dry cleaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like they've proven themselves surviving their 77.
They literally torn apart
reforgings.
by lightning.
Yeah, and infused with god powers.
You know what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're coming to mess things up.
You're right.
But they have to do some tasks first.
Yeah. Like,
Go to the town hall notice board and see if someone needs a curtain hung or something. Yeah.
quest. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Only when their personal martial prowess has been perfected are Stormcast Eternals allowed to train with their brethren. The Stormcast way of war goes far beyond mere battlefield maneuver, as the various units support and empower each other to produce a tight-knit battle formation that moves and fights like no army of the mortal realms have seen before.
I get it, right? Like they're gonna be like on the same page. They're gonna fight together cohesively, all that stuff. But I just imagine, you know, like there are Aussie rules football players, NFL players that are just athletes, and they're used to getting hit and tackled and crunched through the ground and all that stuff. And then they go into other sports like boxing, and they're really good because, like, they don't necessarily know the techniques on how to fight, but they're animals, they're athletes.
Yeah.
So you're telling me these people that got reforged by God powers and lightning, suddenly they pick up a spear and they're just like, I don't know how to use it. Like, surely they're already far superior than everything else. It's like,
Yeah, but they're going to be better.
no, you got to learn how to fight.
Yeah.
I mean, just send me to a battle then. I'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
I'm literally a demigod. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
Yeah. Anyways.
Sigmar forged his new army to battle the forces of the dark gods and reclaim the oppressed realms. To arm his brilliant warriors, Sigmar called upon the 6 smiths who clad the Stormcast in suits of armour made of the enchanted metal Sigmarite and their weapons containing captured tempests to be worthy of the gods themselves. Each weapon, each strike like a thunderclap, and each arrow echoing the fury of lightning. So were the entire storm hosts armed for battle. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It was the Duoden forge god Grugni who harnessed and shaped the raw magic of the celestial realm for Sigmar, and the God King could hurl those bolts down upon the mortal realms, and from out those meteoric strikes strode forth his armies of the Stormcast Eternals. Thus, by lightning, the storm host brought war, swift, devastating to the forces of chaos. Though such rapid deployment was both a gift and a curse. Once delivered into the faraway realms, Stormcast could not return in the same manner. After their initial lightning assaults, only by victory or death could Sigmar's warriors return.
Wow.
If they managed to secure a realm gate, they could use it to travel back to Azir in triumph. But failure in their mission meant death, in which case their immortal soul would blaze back to the heavens to be reforged once more.
They're essentially paratroopers.
Pretty much.
It's like, I can get you there.
Yeah, but you got to get your own way home.
You're either, but they're like, your only way home is like, you die.
Yep.
Because you failed.
Yep.
Or you've managed somehow to kill everyone behind enemy lines.
Kind of like my dad.
And you walk home. Yeah, your dad's a paratrooper, dude.
No, man. He'd be like, I'll drop you off at your friend's house, but you get your own way home.
yeah. You're like, but this is, it's in Perth.
It's 11 o'clock at night. And it's 2002.
He's like, I put your BMX in the car. Put your fucking mongoose in the car. You ride that bike.
I had a GT mountain bike, dude.
Yeah, you would have been cooked then.
It was intense.
You're like, is my helmet in there? He's like, what for?
It's like, you don't need a helmet.
Yeah. I didn't know you were a
You're going to
little...
get hit by a car, you'll die anyway.
Yeah. What's a helmet going to do?
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Amazing, dude.
So, oh man, I learned so much during that.
Yeah.
And now it's all gone.
Now it's
Thank
all gone.
goodness.
In and out. Like the In-N-Out burger.
Yep.
Yeah. Stormcast are so... They're cool, right? Because they're all like mini Thors.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yep.
in... is it... I don't know which one it is. They're all the Marvel movies blend together.
Marvel.
Where he comes down and he just like Thor lands.
Avengers.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah.
He lands in a bolt of electricity and just like everything gets nuked around him.
Yeah.
And then he starts to battle and he's just murking everyone after he gets his like dope weapon.
Yeah.
I feel like they're all like that. And then they're going to walk home.
Yeah.
Which is good. Keeps them humble.
There's no rainbow bridge or nothing.
No. They just gotta figure it out. I hope they brought a map.
They got to need it.
Yeah.
Gunster.
Now we came from the sky, but which way is back to the
north?
sky?
Then the sky's always north, right?
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
Because like the ground is south.
Exactly.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool. What
Yeah.
made you get into Stormcast originally? Like that's your painted Sigmar army.
Yeah, right. I don't really know. Like I had Seraphon before that.
Yeah,
or
true.
Lizardmen.
Yeah.
Some of them were like the older fantasy models. Like they came in the red box, like the fantasy box.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I just feel like it was like the Space Marines of Sigma of Age of what's it called?
I don't fucking know.
Age of Sigma.
You're asking the
like
wrong
it was
guy.
kind of like I had some Space Marines. I had some mostly Necrons, and then I was like, oh, like let's look at Age of Sigma, right?
Yeah.
And I just I don't know. Like I think they're really cool. Like they're really fun to paint. They look awesome on the table, but honestly, I couldn't tell you why
Yeah.
I like them.
I will say, sometimes I think that, like, everyone's guilty of it, but I feel like there are a lot of things that Games Workshop does that it's like, come on, think of something a little bit less on the nose.
Right? Like, yeah.
I feel like they've really done well with their sort of new, even probably the originals, but more so their new take. Because you really think of these like demigod, Thor, Sigmarines.
Yep.
They are quite unique. Like they don't really exist in other.
No.
Like they are quite unique, and they're not just your. Because like their old fantasy stuff, the main one sort of like the cities of Sigmar, the Bretonians.
Yeah, like an empire.
Yeah, kind of like your knights. You know,
Yep.
quite classic, quite standard stuff. I feel like this is a pretty interesting spin on them.
Yeah. It wasn't until like the last few years they started bringing back all the cities of Sigmar stuff, and then you started seeing more of like everyday humans essentially in Age of Sigmar. Like it was always, here's the Stormcast Eternals, which are each one's basically Thor versus these all these kinds of different chaos demons and chaos barbarians and stuff. It wasn't that normal. Like that's a normal dude.
Yeah.
Like,
and they're a little bit. They're definitely not as immersive as your regular knight.
No.
You can imagine yourself in a fantasy thing. You're like, oh yeah, give me a decade of training and a horse and some knight's armor. That could be me.
Yep.
A Sigmarine?
Nope.
Not so much.
Doesn't sound like a fun process.
Yeah, I reckon I could survive about 5 of the reforgings.
I think I'd take about 5 milliseconds of lightning to kill me.
Yeah. I wouldn't even make it to the cut. When they're looking for the souls to reforge.
Yeah. They'd be like,
oh,
no,
we can basically take as many as we want, but we're actively choosing not to take this soul.
yeah.
It's a waste of time.
And you're just like, oh man.
Thanks for diving into that, man.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for doing your research. That was cool.
Worries. It was good fun.
If you know anything that you feel Shane missed.
Yeah, please. There's so much. Like, looking through all the different source material of Sigmar.
Yeah.
Pre-Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
There is heaps, dude. Like, every rule book, every role-playing game, there's novels all about the fantasy world. And then it was like, Age of Sigmar, obviously is a lot less because it's a much newer game.
Yeah.
But they sort of left like the Sigmar himself in the back burner. He's just up there, just chucking bolts, and each bolt is an army.
Is it? Yeah, that's cool.
It's like it's Age of Sigmar drop pods.
Yeah. Facts. Who needs a drop pod when you have literal lightning?
Oh, right.
It's quicker, right?
It's way quicker. Yeah.
These are my questions for the audience that were sort of around, maybe playing fantasy and transitioned into Age of Sigmar or watched it happen.
Yeah.
I want to know, like we mentioned earlier, was Sigmar as big of a deal in fantasy as he is now in Age of Sigmar, literally named after him?
His namesake.
Was it obvious to you that they would make him at the forefront? Was it sort of like, what's the Ultramarine guy?
Rowboat Gilliman.
Yeah, you know how he sort of ascended to one of the key players.
Yeah.
And that was probably quite an obvious transition in 40k because he's the Ultramarines, the most popular faction's main guy. So that's quite an obvious transition. Was it the same for Sigmar and Age of Sigmar? I also want to know, like, so we talked about the Bretonnians and the cities of Sigmar.
Yep.
And that old classical look and the transition. Was that jarring for people at that time? Or was that just like, I'm curious about the individuals, how you felt about that.
Yeah.
Did you like that classical orcs versus humans, Warcraft 3 kind of vibe of fantasy?
2, bro.
Yeah, pardon?
Warcraft 1.
Well, yeah, literally Warcraft 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do you feel like the two universes kind of mesh well? Or, anyways. I'm curious about people that were around during that transition and their thoughts on all of that versus where both games look now. They've completely differentiated the games.
Yeah.
They're two separate games.
Yeah.
So that's cool too. So anyways, thank you to our patrons. Your continued support allows us to continue to make shit.
Right.
That's what we do every single week.
We do.
For the rest of our lives.
Hobby home is guaranteed.
That's what hobby home is guaranteed. Joke's on you, we won't live that long.
We've got 10 years left.
Yeah, at least. Maybe. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you to all the legends that continue to support us monetarily. That's not the only way to support us.
No.
Interacting with our YouTube videos, joining the Discord.
Yep.
Just letting us know that you exist and that you're into the hobby.
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome for us.
You can even use our affiliate links in the description. We've got links there for Wargame Vault, Drive Through RPG, where each of those gives you a little, it gives you nothing, but it gives us a little bit of something for little cost to you, no cost to you.
Yeah, and if you're already buying the thing and you use our link, I mean, we all win. But if you're in Australia and you need cool shit, ozwargaming.com.au.
Yep.
3D printed.
10% off.
Oh,
we give that to you.
That's for you.
Yeah, that's for you.
If you were going to head there and pay full price, don't do that. Don't be dumb.
Stop right there.
Yeah, stop. We're going to stop you right there.
Yep.
Use our affiliate link, 10% off.
Yep.
Amazing miniatures, also delving into terrain more and more.
Yeah. A good selection too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
We've got cool shit. I'm looking for it. It's somewhere.
It's up there.
It's up there somewhere.
I need to get around to it.
All right, homie.
I'm too busy. Massive shout out to our patrons. For $2 a month, you get early access to videos like this, other fun rewards as well, and a couple of Patreon exclusive events that are being run right now.
Yeah, we've got a mini swap, which we'll talk about in a couple of weeks as well.
Yeah. Legendaries, MJ, Moose, Fatboy, Axe, Annex. Real one, that's you, Numa. The Goats, Burngy, Fine Dinosaur, Ockers, Gridlock, and Journeyman.
We got the OGs, Churchy, Rad, Ollie, Pity, Aggro, Don One, Don, Pure Blind, Jackson V, Mini Warmer, Oz Wargaming, Analog Line, and the Big Roach. Did you say Burngy and then try and correct yourself twice, but you just kept saying Burngy?
No, I said it intentionally the second two times.
Sure.
The first time was all me.
You're like a Burngy. You're like, that's wrong. Hang on. Let me try again. Burngy. Yeah, it's Burngy. We love you, Burngy.
I just brought a spoke for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. He's got nothing left, fellas.
I'm out.
He's out.
I'm emptied out.
He's emptied he's emptied out.
My vocabulary is empty.
Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in.
See you next week.
And we'll pick up Shane's vocabulary off the ground. We'll clean it up. Peace.
Big up to the boys, Fox and Shane. Set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing cold, but the opinion turn red. Can't let deck right there in my head, war gaming.